Hey, what's up, party people? So thank you guys who are all here tonight. My counter says 0, but I know there's people talking in chat. So let's see. Hey, Bob. Hey, Thaneth. Hey, Zebra. Hey, Dan. Hey, Chris. All right, got that over with. Hey, Synthetic. I need to know your real name because Synthetic Ephemera is kind of hard to say when you're trying to say it fast. But anyways, so tonight I've got Off Earth on Twitter, Instagram. Not sure I'm on Facebook. And he just started his YouTube channel. I'll have to get him to link that. But Darryl is here. Hey, Darryl.
What's up?
Hello.
I don't know if I'm still.
You froze up for just a second while you were doing this, but
oh no.
Oh, fix my mic. What's wrong with my mic?
Oh no.
Rose is always trying to fix my mic. But, anyways, everybody, this is Off Earth. Darryl, he does cosplay and 3D printed props and all kinds of things. So I just want to talk to him for a little bit. Want to do your own intro?
Hello, everyone. My name is Darryl. I go by Off Earth on the interwebs. I am a prop maker and cosplayer, mainly 3D printing, but I mess with other stuff, foam sometimes. Sometimes I use foam, not always, but sometimes.
Have you ever used Warbler?
No, I've never used Warbler before.
I always wanted to get into Warbler. Back when
the only thermal plastic I use is Sintra.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
It's like they use a lot in like vacuum forming certain parts or like kit bashing stuff. I've seen a lot of people use it that way too.
Yeah, okay. So first I will start off with some questions. Why prop making and cosplay?
So I went to a local con when I lived in Cincinnati with some friends in like 2013 or 14. And we just went, as civilians, not cosplayers or anything. And I was looking around at all the people in all their costumes. I was just like, holy crap, this looks amazing, from mild to wild, from just, people who just took cardboard and made something out of it to, wildly sewn, hand-stitched peach dresses and stuff like that. I was like, I want to do this. So I kind of did some research and dabbled with Pepakura, which is like paper craft, for a hot second. And I lived in this tiny apartment. I didn't have any real way to like use Bondo safely without possibly giving me and my roommate cancer. So that fizzled out quick. And then I found foam craft and started messing around with that for a little bit. And we returned to that same con in 2015, and I did a Venom Snake cosplay from Metal Gear Solid 5. And I'd made the bionic arm and all that out of foam and acrylic paints and spray paint, basically. And the reception that I got from it was just so warming and welcoming. I was like, oh, this community is awesome. So then it just kind of started a downward spiral into this hole that you see behind me today.
Now, I think I was stalking your Twitter the other day. I think I saw you are 6'7".
Yeah, I'm 6'7".
Damn, you're a tall dude.
There's a picture. There's a
picture. I think that's the picture I saw. It was you and Master Chief with the little kid and another Master Chief.
Yep. Yeah, and there's also Warhammer Space Marine in that picture, and me and him are almost like head level when I'm in my ODST.
Let's see if I can find that. So in that you kind of answered some of my questions about where you started, what you started cosplaying with and making props with. What turned you on
Mhm.
to 3D printing with the props?
So I work my professional job. I build computer networks from the ground up, like the construction side. So all the stuff that you don't see, like where you plug your computer into an Ethernet port in a wall, the wireless access system, the whole back end, like I built all that. And we were working in this medical facility, and they had a 3D printer, and the one of the guys was showing it to me and telling me what they used it for, and they used it for prototyping endoscopic surgical equipment. And it was this gigantic thing that's probably the size of my drafting table that my desk is in here. And it was a Stratasys, and I was like, I need this because I want to make a power armor from Fallout. And I quickly got my dream shot done. I found out how much 3D printers were back then, and I started doing some more research, and then I found the RepRap program, or RepRap, the Mendel i3 and all that stuff, and I found an ANET A8 online, bought one of those sketchy printers
Those are
for
my
like $200.
yeah, those
Didn't burn my house down, luckily.
my first two printers were ANET
I
A8s.
still have the frame of it over there sitting on my garage floor. Yeah, it's super sketchy. Um, but yeah, the 3D printing kind of it just came because I thought that would be the easiest way to make like durable power armor.
And do you mostly use FDM or resin or combo of both?
I do resin and FDM both. It depends.
Um,
Uh-oh.
freeze.
Did we lose him? Yep.
Am I back?
Your cam froze and it sounds like your audio's coming from there we go.
Okay. I do both resin and FDM printing. I have two Elgu Marses and a host of FDM printers, a highly modified CR10S4. You can kind of see the Raptor in the corner of my camera next to my Ender 3. And then there's a artillery Sidewinder X1 sitting here on the bench. A couple skeletons of some CR10s on the floor that are being turned into camera sliders for YouTube shots. But yeah, a lot of FDM more than resin. Resin I do more for like detailed parts, like so I'm working on for somebody these little stormtrooper helmets. So that's one that's resin printed, and this one's primered.
And what are you doing with those?
So I use that for small detail stuff.
Are you printing those to sell or?
No, this was just one of my buddies hit me up and was like, "Hey man, I saw you're working on that diorama. Do you think you could make the remnant stormtrooper helmets like from the scene in the Mandalorian where they're walking through and their heads are all on those spikes?" So I'm just gonna paint these little guys up for like a desk display for him. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool.
Now, speaking of
And
your
miniature painting is fun.
your dioramas, where is my? I'm looking forward to this, and I definitely want to. Oh shoot, where'd you go? Off right there you go. So this is the diorama that you're recreating, right?
Yeah. Want a sneak peek? I'll show you.
Yeah. Do you have it?
I'm all
I
about
have
the sneak peeks.
I just have your pictures.
Yeah, it's right here.
I'm gonna make you big.
There you go.
Oh wow, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was. Because in the pictures online, it looks a lot
So
smaller.
in my mind, it was going to be. Yeah, in my mind, it was supposed to be smaller, but this is what ended up happening. So I'm still working on the terrain, and then I have some custom acrylic for the box. But this is her
awesome.
so far. So this one's tiny, and then this the full size helmet. This is
Detail, and that's awesome. Now, did you print that in PLA?
No, PETG.
Okay. I heard. I absolutely am against
I only
sanding.
print. PETG is the way to go. You take a mouse sander, some 80 or 120 grit sandpaper, and you just attack it. I mean, you can literally lay into PETG prints with a hand sander. Cuts down the time dramatically. Especially, that's my huge takeaway for like Star Wars prop makers, because they have real easy curves in a lot of their pieces, like especially like helmets and armor. For mostly anything in Star Wars doesn't have like super insane detailing, except like Sith helmets, you know, Vader, Revan, Kylo, like they all have like some real intricate, you know, detailing in the helmets. But as far as armor goes, the Moff Gideon chest plate that I'm working on, I mean, I think I sanded that, primed, and had it ready to paint like in an afternoon.
Please tell me you're making the Dark Saber too.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to that. Robert,
I'm trying to figure out a way to make it so I can take it to, but I can take the blade off and put it on without it breaking.
Right. Robert Marvin has a question. How important do you think ventilation is in your printer room?
Pretty important. I mean, especially if you're printing ASA or ABS, I would say it's pretty important, just because of the fumes and the toxic particulates that those two filaments are known to give off. Also, too, for resin, it's a really good idea, because resin printing has a tendency to be real funky. And I mean, it's not too bad, but if I leave the hood off of one of my resin printers and come sit down at my desk, after about 10 or 15 minutes, you can smell like resin throughout the whole garage. So it gets pretty intense. So I think that ventilation is super important when you're working with resins, and especially ABS and ASA.
So for resins, what brand do you use?
I use Soraya Tech, like the little TK helmets. These are printed in their blue. It's just, this stuff is super durable. I mean, I could take this thing and throw it at a wall and nothing would happen to it after it's been cured. And you can also mix it with their Tenacious, which is flexible. So you can give like a semi-flex to your resin prints.
And that's what Synthetic Ephemera told me the other day, to mix those two, because she prints super, super tiny dowel parts.
Yeah,
and that's crazy. But when I used to have my Phenom, and my Phenom was on my desk, and then, like I said, my bed is in the corner there. And when I started printing with, I started with Anycubic resin, and then I tried Sunlose resin, and both of those would give me headaches. So obviously the Vox on those were bad. When I switched to Soraya Tech, I used the Soraya Fast, and I can't even smell that stuff.
Yeah, the Fast you can't smell. The blue has a smell to it, and the Tenacious has a smell to it too. But as far as the Fast, Fast, like, what? This doesn't even have a scent to it at all. It's great.
Yeah. That's why I started using it. But I moved my I got rid of my Phenom, and my Photon is out in my hallway now. So
you're gonna pick up a Mono X then?
No, I've got the two Elegoo Pro 2 Pros now that I'm gonna set up.
Oh, nice.
I
got a screenshot holding that box up. Tweet Joel.
Oh, I did the other day. I did it. Because Jordan posted something, and I was like, yeah, mine's not as big, but I got two of them. But I was disappointed with my Phenom, because it had such a big plate, and I was trying to print minis with it. That was the whole reason I got it. It printed great for, like, where the heck are my large prints? Oh,
hiding.
Here's one. This one I didn't support the chin right, so it collapsed in on itself. I mean, it printed great. I loved printing big things with it. But one of the main reasons I bought it was to print a whole plate of minis at once, and I could fit 30 minis on a plate, but then 60% of them would fail. And so I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, let me try printing 10 more spaced out, and still 60% would fail. I hated that
Wow.
printer, and so I was like, I sold it to somebody else. But
So basically, if you have a large resin printer, print big stuff only.
yeah, just I mean, like I said, it was great for printing big things. I don't know where my Harley Quinn is. I think she's in my dresser drawer. But yeah, I mean, for printing great things, it was great. But I didn't want to just print tall, big things. I wanted to print a lot of things, and it just, I think because it had a solid build plate, and but my photon, I think I've had one fail out of maybe 100 prints.
Yeah, I my Mars. I think I've changed the FEP sheet on both of them one time, and I switched to the Epoxy brand non-FEP film. And you don't hear that sucking sound anymore when your build plate pulls
Oh,
up
so does it
to
actually
reset
release
for the next layer. Oh yeah, it actually releases, and I haven't re-leveled late in I don't know how long, and they just run perfectly.
And what is that called? Because I need to pick some that up.
Non-FEP.
Non-FEP.
Amazon should have you covered. Yep.
Cool. I'll have to look into that later.
It's awesome.
Because I do think that's what causes a lot of fails too, is that suction on that FEP sheet just pulls stuff off the plate on those early layers.
And then you're sitting there trying to like use a plastic scraper and knock your piece off and not damage the FEP.
Yeah. So what else are you working on? Do you have any other props within reach that we could show off?
Yeah, I'll show you the Mando helmet that I just finished. One of the only in the world right now. Pull this little guy out. So this Mandalorian helmet actually has the inner detailing that are completely cast in foam.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
It's nice, cheap. I haven't set these in here yet, so they come out and I can show you like what they look like painted up and stuff. So that's like the ear guard part. Oh, by the way,
that's
like I
cool.
said, it's completely flexible, squishy.
Now, did you
nice
mold that?
Makes your head a little hot, but actually, a buddy did. Dragonborn Jedi. His name's Jeremy, and he was working on these, and I got one of the first pulls out of his mold. So it's not perfect, but for being a hunter, you know, it's on it. So you can kind of see like the unfinished side of it,
right?
And that just sits in the top of it. And then your boy Din Djarin, and this is the painted in Lumiluster, which is Imperial Surfaces paint that they use on the show. That is like $400 a quart.
Holy cow!
Shh! Don't tell my girlfriend; she'll kill me. So that's the Mando, and I brought a couple other things that I've worked on in the past. All my other stuff is out in the paint shed being post-processed at the moment.
Yeah.
I made the M6G from Halo, just their pistol. This is actually 100% resin printed.
Nice.
Every part of this, and this was painted with Model Masters aluminum, aluminum paint, and then weathered to hell to look like it had been used by a Spartan against bad guy. It's heavy. And then we also have Kylo Ren's lightsaber hilt. This way. Keep forgetting which direction I need to go. This is 100% resin printed as well.
That looks really sweet. Now, do you add any kind of lighting or electronics or?
I have in the past. It just kind of depends on what it is. Like the ODST helmet actually has 3 5-volt fans in it. It has a 4010 that blows over a shroud down over the visor so it doesn't fog.
Gotcha.
And then it has 2 5015 push and pull fans to kind of pull and push oxygen air throughout the helmet just to kind of keep your head cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Dr. Doom mask somewhere that has like light up eyes. I've done Iron Man. I would go grab the Iron Man arm, but I don't have a dummy arm for it. It's all in pieces, so it would like fall apart. But that has a full light up system with a repulsor in the palm. I think there's pictures of that on Twitter and IG and everything. And as far as like big cosplay builds, I've been slowly working on Slayer from Doom 2016, which has been a task just because it's a lot of parts, a lot of stuff I'm gonna need to cast for mobility, and then my comfy cozy cosplay is going to be Moff Gideon. So I have a few more armor parts to that, and then Eversoft parts.
Got another question from Robert.
Yeah.
Do you do all your own designs?
Well, I did. I did until Fusion got killed by one of the Hobby license thing. For time and to support other makers that do outsource.
It sounds like you're cutting out really bad again. All I heard was Fusion 360. I can't hear you at all now.
Back.
A little bit.
Let's
say something longer.
Hello, hello, hello.
There we go.
All right. Sorry, my connection must be running crazy tonight. But I do. Fusion got killed. My work print other various designers on Patreon.
I think Fusion 360 is jinxing you because every time you say Fusion 360, you cut out.
Autodesk they're trying to nerf me.
See, now you say that and I heard you perfectly clear.
Okay, so we'll just say this. Yes, I do, but I buy a lot more than I design. I've been learning Blender.
Blender's pretty awesome. I used to, like, way back when Blender first came out, I was using 3D Studio Max, a pirated version. And because it was like a $4,000 program at the time. And then Blender came out and I started using it, and it's to see how more advanced it's gotten over the years, and for being a free open source program, it's amazing. And I'm glad they're embracing 3D printing more, because they've added a lot more tools.
Yeah, and I like that you can kind of customize your workflow a little bit more, because I think before 2.8 it was like super convoluted with all these different controls that were everywhere, and it was like I don't even know which tab I'm supposed to be in to start like line drawing or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like I'm definitely no pro now. I bought a tablet thinking, okay, I'm gonna start modeling, and there's just not enough hours in the day for me right now. So I haven't become a pro with it yet, but it's on my list. I think it's his internet connection. Yeah. So, what do you have? Are you planning on just doing these for cons? I know you're starting your YouTube channel. If you could give me the link to that, I haven't found that one yet. But are you gonna start doing like tutorial videos, or just this is what I made videos, or?
I'm gonna start with this is what I made and kind of go from there.
Okay.
Probably more into tutorial space because like I work really weird, so I'll be able to write down like, oh, this would be a cool thing to point out to make a video on, like specifically, like how I sand or painting or using epoxy sculpt to fix broken props or whatever. I mean, I think that once I get the just more comfortable editing and throwing content out there, that I'll start breaking into more of the this is how or DIY or explaining the ins and outs of each build.
So the epoxy sculpt, what besides 3D printing and foam, what other mediums do you use?
I guess epoxy sculpt's one is a huge one. It's a 2-part sculpting clay that you can use to. I use it for gap filling or like adding little detailed pieces on the parts, or if I need to cast like small stuff in resin or something, and I'm not gonna like go print a screw head. I'll just make it an epoxy sculpt, and just use it that way. I mean, I use it for real minor stuff, not anything like major, but it helps out a lot.
And do you do any like molding at all?
Yep.
Like epoxy molds and rubber molds and stuff like that?
Yeah, silicone and rubber molds. Yeah, I've done for those. I'm going to be doing a lot more for Doomslayer just because of how big and holding his armor is. I'm working out ways to make certain things flexible, to make it more wearable and tolerable. So if I'm walking around a con floor for 6 hours, I'm not dying inside of it.
You're right. Yeah, I bought some silicone and a pressure pot and some epoxy like 6 months ago because I wanted to start molding some stuff, and for 6 months it's been sitting on my living room floor because I had no time.
One day.
One day. So is there anything that you don't use that you'd like to get into and see how it works?
I don't know. I spend a lot of time like messing around with different paint mediums. So I think the only thing that I would change up differently in my workflow right now would be probably a couple of different paint guns that I'm eyeing, but they're really expensive.
So you use a lot of airbrushing versus hand paint?
Yeah, I hand paint, airbrush. I have a HVLP set up, paint like a whole paint booth in my shed. So I have basically every kind of, I guess, painting you can do. I mean, I technically could paint a car in my backyard if I wanted to. Yeah, I think painting stuff is probably where I'm still like learning because there's so much to it, or just different ways people do different things or weather things or distress things. And I spend a lot of time watching a lot of videos on like miniature tabletop people painting. And I just take that small amount and just blow it up times 1,000 for something huge.
I think watching mini painters is really great because they know how to get the most detail out of the least amount of area. So yeah, like, that's awesome. Are you?
Yeah, they're those guys are insane.
Now, are you going to start doing any live streams or?
I probably will. Like I said, there's still a couple little things I'm trying to get set up. Like I said, I'm tearing apart motor printers and using some aluminum extrusion as camera arms and sliders and things like that. I have a whole parts bin of like things I need to test out. And live streaming would be sweet, especially just for working on like smaller things like the Stormtrooper helmets that I'm working on. Would just be a cool thing to have people around to talk to when I'm doing it. Because usually I'm just listening to YouTube in the background.
I just noticed that you tweeted me your YouTube link. You got it out there in chat now. Everybody go follow if you're into cosplay and stuff. Or just follow because Darryl's a cool dude. There's like so many people I follow because they're great, but like I just don't have time to watch that many videos either. So I just subscribe to people to support people sometimes.
Yeah, I do the same. And then every blue moon, somebody's stuff will pop up and I'll go, oh yeah, I need to watch that video.
All right, chat. Does anybody have any questions for Darryl?
I'm open to questions.
I'm gonna go.
I wish Uncle Jesse was in here so I could ask him about me doing voiceovers for his videos. Apparently,
that would be cool.
He tweeted and said he wants me to do voiceovers for him. I think he was joking, but collab one day on that.
Yeah, I don't like. It's really weird for me. A lot of people in the community know me as far as like Uncle Jesse and Amy and Joel and 3D Maker Noob, because I've hung out with all of them, and you know they.
Yep.
But
yeah.
I never see them. I never see them in my streams, anything like that, and it's just a weird. I'm like the black sheep of 3D printing. Everybody loves me who loves me, but then it's just weird. I mean, at Murph, I don't know.
We gotta have the black sheep; they're important,
right? And it's like at Murph, I had everybody knew me because I had a 9-foot community printed alien, and then last year at Earth, I walked around in a friggin' alien costume the whole time, and then this year, a lot of people were saying like their favorite part of the Verf streams was my flash mob video. But then on the other hand, companies and the bigger named people tend to avoid me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm outspoken.
Oh,
I'm a company who fights for the community, and I say shit about other companies sometimes. I don't know.
Hey, it happens. I have conversations with people in the dark about some companies, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be as like anybody who's been my subscriber for my UFO for any amount of time, or my customers or people who come and watch my streams, they know I'm as open as can be with everybody, and I just feel like I'm a company for the community versus a company out for profit, and just some people don't see that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's weird, but I also still kind of look at all this stuff as like hobby space.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that there's like real life applications for additive manufacturing. But at the end of the day, I look at it like it's hobby, because if I start getting too businessy with it, I'm not going to like it anymore.
Yeah. And there are definitely days where I'm like, shit, I got to go do this now. Because it's company related, but
yeah,
I don't know, it's still fun. Like my biggest monotonous time of my month is making my UFO samples every month, and getting and packing the UFOs and shipping those out. But every single time people start getting their UFOs and posting unboxing videos, posting the projects they made with it and stuff, it just makes it all completely worth it. Chris Lane
every
asks,
time Tested retweets me, it makes it worth it.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta live
Like
for those moments.
Hey, Chris.
Chris
What's up,
says,
buddy?
is there a resin printer you wish you had?
Yeah, a Phenom L, without a doubt, hands down. If I could justify spending $3,000 on that printer, or the Pax 156, which is basically the same printer, except it's made, or it's a U.S. company. I would support them, but
there was a large resin printer that somebody was talking to me about the other day. I can't remember what it was, but they said it's a large format printer, but they made it to where you could modify it and use like 2 separate vats on the screen with 2 different build plates. So you could basically do 2 different prints at the same time in 2 different like resins, type of resins and stuff. It might have been the Transform.
So it's like mirror mode on an IDEX printer.
I guess.
Frozen.
But can you imagine
Maybe
if
they
you
do that?
if you
they
had
have some pretty crazy features on those printers.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like if you have a build volume this freaking big, but you're only going to use this much of it for a while, having multiple build plates with multiple vats just seems like a good idea to me.
Now, I think like the biggest terrains would probably be like an Elegoo Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
I would Phenom L because I'll be able to produce pieces so much faster, post-process them so much faster, make molds faster. I mean, I could really overhaul some of my slurring in about making wicker like that.
Yeah, Ephemera, I know I mentioned that to you the other day, and I think it's the Transform. I just can't remember who the heck I was talking about.
I think you're right, because I think I remember seeing that on their Kickstarter.
Oh, of course, Shane.
I do think I remember seeing that on their Kickstarter. I think it was Frozen.
Shane posted this morning that he got SL1 in. It's good to see Shane back working at Prusa. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, Chris, I've been thinking about that. I was actually thinking of doing some runs of some dioramas and just taking that money and setting it aside just for the large printer.
Yeah, but Ephemera, you're like huge in doll mode in the doll community. I don't know of anybody else that's 3D printing doll stuff that I've seen. Not that I look for doll stuff, but I'm sure
It's got a good market.
Having a Phenom is just a great. Like you could print full like I saw the dolls that you posted the other day with the gold painted on them. You could basically print an entire doll. Oh, is there tons of people printing doll stuff? I don't know. Maybe they're just not as famous as you are. Because I don't see it.
She posts her stuff on Twitter.
Yes. I
want to see these dolls.
No, I'm gonna warn you. Some of her dolls are kind of creepy. Stuff that'll give you nightmares.
I like creepy stuff.
Let's see.
Paul, I'm with you. I need a larger format Core XY too.
Well, I tell you what, I finally got a message. When was it? 2 days ago from the guy who's redesigning the 5th version of my transfer board for the Tesseract. And that's basically the very last thing I'm waiting for to actually put this thing together. And the price of, like, when I first started designing the Tesseract, I was like, all right, I want a large scale printer for under $1,000. And then the more I researched and the more I this is like my third or fourth version, and it's not possible.
Oh wow.
It just, like, if
Yeah.
you source all the parts yourself and go as cheap as you absolutely can, yes, it's possible. But if you want any kind of quality, it's just not possible.
I mean, you look at a Voron, right? Like their standard size, the 300-ish model. You're spending, if you even on the cheap side, I think it's like $1,200.
Yeah.
Like the Voron 0.4, it's still pretty pricey. I was looking at Switchwire. I think the lowest I could get one of those built for was like just under $7. Then the Voron Zero, which is like the little baby printer, Core XY. I think that thing only does like 7x7, but it's still kind of up there in the price for the build volume that you get.
Well, it's like the bed heater. I went directly to Canovo for it to have it custom made, and the bed heater alone was $225. So that's a quarter of my $1,000 right there. And then initially I was using exo slides, but I wasn't getting what I wanted out of them. So then I switched to Drylin linear rails, which don't use balls. They're just the Drylin material. Yep. So now
that's what my my Raptor runs on,
and they're great. But a full set for this printer was $400. So,
sheesh.
Yeah. So it ended up, if you want quality, you just couldn't go
can't cheap
under $1,000. Yeah, you can't cheap it. And so, like, the final retail price of this printer is probably going to be closer to $2,000, but I think it'll be worth it for those people who buy it, because I mean, it's got good parts. And yeah, I mean, Chris Lane, obviously, it's my $1,000 printer is suddenly a $2,000 printer now, but it's not something I could avoid. I mean, the Drylin rails, you cannot, go cheap on.
Nope.
The bed heater, and yes, it's a silicone AC bed heater, so you can't go cheap on that. So
yeah, my S4 is running 3D fused linear rail on X, Y, and Z, and I think that those three pieces alone were like close to $500.
Did you buy them from
me? It has
me?
a Titan Arrow. No, I bought them from Cody from
Cody,
3D Fused.
Cody's an awesome dude.
And then he sold me a bed because my bed was warped. Canovo heater. I mean, I probably have $1,000 in just upgrading on the S4, and just like hard parts, So,
hey, what's up, Jason?
Yeah, I can imagine once you get into that Core XY territory.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's just I don't know if you saw my updates, because I know you said you want a large format Core XY, but for the X and Y, I've recently switched to closed loop motors as well. So you shouldn't have the layer shifting.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm excited to get this thing done. I need that last. See the transfer board. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm using. Well, the guy that just redesigned it talked me into using 3 cables now. So I've got a 6-pin Molex, and then 2 USB-C wires.
Mm-hmm.
And so the transfer board, one will go at the hot end and one will go at the motherboard control board, and then you just have 3 wires going to doing all the transfer of the data, including the heat and everything. So I think that'll be a lot easier.
Yeah.
People are like, why don't you use ribbon cables? And I'm like, no. Like, even if ribbon cables work, because obviously they do for the Sidewinder, mine's been running for 1.5 years with no problems.
Yeah, you're like me.
People just don't have the confidence in ribbon cables.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a version 1 back when I first started selling them, and it's lasted 1.5 years, and I've had no problems with it.
See, I have
Actually,
a
that's
V4.
That's a lie. I had one problem. My X motor one day just woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning going, "Eh."
I've seen those.
Crap.
I've seen videos of those on the forums on Facebook. And people are like,
Yeah.
what's happening to my printer?
Literally, all I did was unplug the ribbon cable and reseat it, and it worked fine.
Yep. The only thing changed on mine is I threw a nozzle X on it just because sometimes I like to print in weird proto pasta filaments.
Right.
And I don't feel like buying brass over and over and over and over and over.
I don't think many of the protopastas will run it down unless you're using like the metal fills or their carbon fiber. I could be wrong.
I use both.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
Yeah. So
I
was like, I'm
haven't-
going to get some hardened steel.
I haven't printed any metal fills yet, but last January I had carbon fiber from Protopasta as a sample, and catch you later, Viking. And I only printed like 20 meters, so I hope my nozzle isn't jacked, but
Yeah.
Let's
Who knows?
see. Trying to look for other. Nobody else has any more questions for Darryl? Yeah, Chris, I want to get one of your printers. I swear, every time you release your freaking printers, though, I'm freaking broke. And then when I have the money, your printer's not available. So, but I like that you're doing a freaking three tool changer for under $2,500. That in itself is worth it.
Can't beat that. I'm trying to win one of the E3 tool changers from their contest.
Well, that's what Chris Lane, his printer. Chris, remind me of the build volume on it. But he's got the E3D tool changer, and he's including 3 Chimeras. For under $2,500.
I'm looking at him.
Yeah, the next core.
I pulled it up on the Twitters.
Yeah.
Last year is nice though.
Last year I had the honor of taking the next core to Earth in my back of my car. Because he flew up there and I drove up there, so he's like, "Hey, you want to take my printer?" I was like, "Sure." Chris is a good dude. Oh no, I died.
Device not available.
I don't know if you can still hear me, but I died. Hang on, I should be back.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Our Zoom call.
I don't know I think it has to do with heat of my CPU because it's currently at 85C, which is bad.
It's hot.
Yeah. But every once in a while, my computer decides that all my USB and Bluetooth devices are just going to disconnect for a split second and then reconnect.
My mic does that. It drops and then it jumps to my webcam mic or the mic that's in my headphones. So I never know which one I'm talking through. And then somebody will say, "Oh, your audio's choppy." And I'll go, "Oh, it's not on the mic right now."
See, 200, 300 by 3. See, that's not a bad build volume. 200,
No.
300, and 300. Currently, $2,024 with his discount.
Dissolvable supports.
I so want to use dissolvable supports, even though that stuff's expensive. It's more expensive than freaking regular filament.
Just like
Then again, I did Hello 3D sells, it's not PVA, it's the other stuff that dissolves in lemonine.
what is the other dissolvable? I forget what it's called.
HPV? No, that's a STD, isn't it?
I think so. I don't
Well-
want anybody 3D printing STs.
Wait, is it hips? Is it hips?
Hips.
There
It's
we go.
hips. That's
Oh, my
yeah.
goodness.
It's a lot more safer.
Well, I saw
I think I
3D
have some
Fuel.
PVA that has just
3D
never been used.
I don't know what 3D Fuel is using, but theirs completely dissolves in water in like 15 minutes, warm water.
Wow. 3D Fuel, by the way, their PETG is some of the best I've used. I'm printing it right now, and it just always comes out like beautiful.
Yeah,
I don't
3D.
know what they're doing to it, but it is magic.
So, as somebody who deals with a lot of freaking filament, I've in 2 years, it's 40, no, 12, 24, 30. About a year and a half now, so 30. I think I've dealt with at least 100 different brands of filament. And
Yeesh. That's a lot.
people get on their little niche of, oh, I love protopasta, I love printed solid, I love 3D Fuel, I love Ziltech, I love what's that brand that starts with a T? They freaking make some really durable stuff. They like put videos where they print railroad ties and they hammer them into wood, and it's a plastic 3D print. But it's
wow.
like there's like I love people who buy from me because I love to keep my business going, but the people who are stuck on a certain brand just because they always buy from that brand and their brand loyalty or whatever, there's so much filament out there that I can't even recommend companies anymore. Like people who want just a cheap PLA because they can't afford more stuff, I always send them to Ziltech because it's $18.95 plus I can give you an additional 15% off. So that's
He's a good one too.
If you want to go there. And then people who want cheap pet G that prints easy but can occasionally have flaws because it is recycled, I always tell people to go to Green Gate. But anybody who wants like the absolute best stuff and spend the money on, I can't even recommend people anymore because there's so much filament out there that's great. I love 3D Fuel. I like protopasta. I have a lot of issues with protopasta on a couple of my printers, but then I have no issue on protopasta with a printer that's got a larger nozzle on it. And so I think people just really need to know what they're printing and the right tools for the job. Because I see people complain about protopasta all the time. Oh, it's always jamming, blah, blah, blah. Well, what size nozzle are you using? What temperatures are you using? What's your retraction? But I just...
Yeah, HTPLA will be printed a little hotter, I've noticed, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing I think is funny, you used to buy normal PLA and you'd print it at 180. Now all the PLA you buy, except for certain companies, it's like 210s minimum for PLA, and it's got to be additives. But I don't know, it's hard to recommend. I love 3D Fuel, I love Ziltech for the cheap stuff, I love Green Gate for cheap pet G. What the heck is that company that starts with a T? Come on, some of my subscribers freaking remind me. They're a U.S. company. and they put out those videos where they hammer in freaking plastic
I've never seen
nails.
the railroad video. That sounds crazy though. I have some 3D Solutech, some Ziltech.
Yeah, the people
I
that
have
make
some
the tea glass.
Oh, the tea glass.
Tallman,
I don't have
there it
any of
is.
that stuff.
Tallman. If you go to Tallman's Twitter, they've got videos of them printing things and hammering nails, plastic nails into freaking wood and stuff. It just blows my mind.
That's insane.
But
Tallman.
then again, that stuff's not cheap either. I sell Kimya,
Right.
and it's an industrial brand, and nobody's buying it now because it's kind of expensive. I think people are getting strapped for cash with this economy.
And holidays.
Oh, and holidays. It got really, really slow. I had companies coming to me saying, hey, how are your sales going? Because I guess a lot of 3D printing companies right now are not experiencing great sales. I thought it was because people were saving up for Earth and seeing what was new at Earth so they could spend money. I think people are just broke.
Yeah.
And like you said, holidays are coming up.
Yeah, holidays are coming up. I got kids, so I gotta buy all kinds of stuff. It's gonna get used a little bit and then thrown away. That's how it goes.
That is. Kids are super excited to play with things just for the first day, and then you go look for it the next week, and it's in their closet piled up with all the other toys you bought.
Yep, that's right. I'm gonna go find it. I had to find this video today at some point of this 3D printed nail.
Hang on, I'll try to find it.
I found I'm on Tallman 3D's Twitter because Chris posted their names. So I was like, I'm gonna go stuff. Oh, here I was. One. Oh, it's a railroad spike. You're right. Oh, this is insane.
Oh yeah, there's one of, I don't know which one you're watching, but there was one on February 3rd.
Wait, he broke the wood and not the peak?
Yeah,
What?
right? That stuff's crazy.
What? He split a piece of wood in half with it. Oh, this is insane.
Right.
I'm buying some of this filament. $45 plus shipping. Normally $80. I might have to do it.
I don't know if it's still on sale for that much, but because that was back in February. But yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. And
I think it's worth it. Rosa would. Oh, your 6-year-old wants a Switch for Christmas. I bought mine a Switch when she was 6. It's great.
I'm just gonna send her mine because literally I bought a Switch so I could play Animal Crossings when everybody was playing it, and I could not get into that game. I played for like a week, and I was just like, "All right, why are people excited about this? Because it's boring AF." And
Yeah.
And then I went and played. I joined the Nintendo Club, whatever the heck it's called. You pay like $3 a week or month or whatever. And I got to play all the old Nintendo and Super Nintendo games. And I was like, heck yes, this is my jam. This stuff came out when I was a kid. So I beat like Mario Kart in the bronze, gold, and silver, whatever leagues.
Yep. Then you go back and you play it, and you're like, oh, this isn't as fun as I remember it.
It was still fun to me.
It always is for me.
My biggest
why is Mario so hard?
Right. My biggest letdown was Final Fantasy VII. It was my absolute favorite game ever. And then a couple years ago, when they were like, "Okay, we're gonna remake it," I was like, "Well, cool. I'll go back and play the original." I bought it on PC and I went to play it, and I'm like, "These graphics suck so bad. I just cannot play it." But I played the remake, and it's freaking amazing. Yeah, Paul Herman, I sell Kimya. It's more of a industrial stuff. Oh, the Cyberpunk 2070, is that it? Was that it? I want to play that too.
77.
When does that come out? November.
Oh, the Switch is a gift.
Wait, is it just me or is Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, Chris, we want Cisco, not the Netgear.
Don't hate on your game. My bad, Paul. I just could not get into it. Like I'm one of those guys that likes open world crafting and stuff like that. Like I'll play 7 Days to Die and Conan, to where you actually go out and collect stuff, but you actually build stuff with it. Animal Crossings, you go out and collect stuff and do absolutely freaking nothing with it. Drove me nuts.
Until the city's just like, hey, you know, we're going to build something new finally.
Oh, did they actually add some stuff to it?
Yeah, they keep adding stuff to Animal Crossing. It's always something new. I don't know.
I couldn't get it.
My daughter's always showing me something about it, and I'm just like, oh, this is cool. I remember when I played this on GameCube before you were thought of.
Right? How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
33.
See, I've even got you beat. When I remember things, I'm 41. So, like, I remember the original Nintendo when it came out, and we had that the 8x8 running pad with AB in red and AB in blue, and we did what the heck was that? What was that called? Basically like the Olympics, and you sit there and run on the pad to get it to go.
Sounds like old school Dance Revolution, but running.
Kinda, yeah. But it was the Olympics. It's just, anyways. So we're an hour in. Doesn't look like too many people have any more questions. Do you have anything else you want to show off or tell anybody? Because otherwise we're going to break into game mode, and you can either join us or leave us.
Probably have to take off, but I don't have anything else. If you just check me out on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube is coming soon. I'm editing like 3 videos at once right now. Yeah, so
I will post his YouTube channel again.
I'm just going to continue down this road and see where it takes me. So far, it's been pretty cool. I'm meeting a lot of cool people. I just can't wait for coronavirus to eat shit and die so we can all meet up in real life and cheers a giant stein of beer and be like, we made it. We finally get to meet each other. And we're not just talking on the internet.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
I don't know if you're into Supernatural, but
I've never watched that show.
What?
I haven't. People keep telling me that, dude, you love it. I'm like, I don't.
Well, we can no longer be friends.
Damn, Josh, I'm sorry.
No, so like I love Supernatural, and
I have to.
The last freaking season, and I really, really hope they do continue doing Supernatural Comic-Con or SPN cons, whatever the heck you want to call them, Supernatural cons, because I've never been to one, and I want to freaking go to one. But I've seen them.
Right, I'm gonna watch Supernatural.
The 15 seasons. This is their 15th and last season, so you got a lot of.
Okay. All right. Oh, I got a lot of catching up on before like Cyberpunk comes out, and then I lose my life.
Auto drop. So they did have a couple down seasons, but it picked back up in my opinion. There was a little time, like, can't remember what they were. They had hamburgers turning people into freaking giant snakes or some crap like that, and I was like, the season kind of sucks, and I stopped watching it for a couple.
It gets weird. Yeah,
it is the Leviathans. Okay. I think that's what it was. But yeah, there's a couple seasons.
This is
Yeah,
a CW
there's a
show. I
couple
mean, you know.
seasons in it. But overall, yeah, see, even Synthetic Ephemera says the Leviathan arc was horrid. But it got better again. So nobody knows
Ashley
how
said she has
super
2 seasons left.
yeah, nobody knows how Supernatural ended yet because the second half of the last season isn't coming out until I think January or February. So anywho, I thank you
Well,
so much
hopefully,
for
I get some more of The Boys season 3. So.
the boys. They have to come out with a season 3. I tell you what though, I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody.
Yeah.
But Homelander makes me want to beat the living crap out of him. I hate Homelander. Period.
I love Homelander.
Really?
Homelander
I can't
is
stand it.
the
Dude.
craziest villain ever, but it just got confirmed. So great. So we do get season 3, and they need to just keep going with that show because it's insane.
Oh, I love the show. It's an amazing show, but I cannot stand Homelander. I want to beat his freaking face in.
Good luck. Good luck.
Anywho.
Yeah, man.
So thank you. I know it's been a few weeks in the making. We've both been pretty busy with a few things. So thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime. We have to do another one. I'll watch some Supernatural.
Absolutely. I mean, I stream, except for like when I'm really busy doing my UFO crap. I generally stream once or twice a week. So if you ever see me streaming and you're busy working on something, and you just want to chat with people, I usually have 4 to 7 people in here at a time, just all BSing. So you're more than welcome to join whenever you see me go live.
I got you. I'm gonna hit the bell on the notification thing, on YouTube, so it tells me that. Wow,
appreciate
Josh
it.
is online. I'll be like, yeah, let's join up.
I appreciate it. So thank you again, everybody. Go follow him on YouTube. He's gonna be posting videos of his makes soon. And follow him on Twitter and Instagram. Links are underneath the stream. Thank you again,
Appreciate it, everybody. All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Yep.
As for everybody else who's here, per our usual after party gaming, if anybody would like to join me in StreamYard, there's the link for that. And I think we'll play. What do you all want to play tonight? Want to play some Among Us? Oh, shysta. Hang on, I gotta open this up in Chrome and switch browsers. I'll be right back.
Hey. What show now?
Sir.
What's that?
I had to switch to Chrome, otherwise it won't share my audio.
What's that? Somebody's got
Chrome, otherwise it won't share
audio.
Is that? Yep, Mike.
That was me. Is my camera not going on?
Your camera is not
Nope.
on, sir. Wait, Chris Warkaki streaming too?
I wonder if it's
Sure is. What a Jack one.
FDM Lounge is live. Oh, look at that. He has a beard. I'm gonna come back in. Hold on, because this ain't working with the camera.
All right.
You know what it is? Does Discord mess that up?
I don't know.
Maybe if you have Discord enabled to do stuff.
I don't know. I may just send everybody over to Chris Warkaki stream because it looks like almost everybody's there also. And he's playing Jackbox games.
All right.
Let me see. So there's Chris Warkaki stream. Everybody go raid him, and I'll just go ahead and end mine. And since he's already playing games.
Oh,
Peace out there, Captain.
beats.
Later. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for joining. I did not know Chris Warkaki was streaming. So I'll send you all over there. And Darryl, thank you again, Off Earth. Thank you for stopping in and sharing your awesomeness. And yeah, peace out, everybody.